So as usual, conceptualization, earlier part. So every project will start from a need. Okay, there is need, there is demand. It has to be from somewhere. I mean, we always say that it must be from some stakeholders. There's some needs for the stakeholders. There's no such thing as because the project has involve a lot of money in a way, and then you don't just simply wake up one morning and decided you want to do a project, and you want to throw away, like a few millions or hundreds of million, just to have fun. I mean, like, we don't do that. I mean, but yeah, I mean, some people do that, but then that's why some projects are really like out of this world, like, they um I don't know, like building certain state of the art building or some state of the art facilities, and all that. But usually, we do have a purpose here, you see. So we need to understand. I think it's very important, especially for master's degrees level. It's not only understanding how to do a conceptual report. Come on, you all know how to do a conceptual report. But I want you to be more concerned about whether you understand who is the stakeholders, who are the client, what is their mind, what is their idea, what is it that they're looking for, what is the motives behind the project. Some public facilities, of course, the motives is to serve the nation, serve the public, and then private enterprises, they have their own needs and demands. It's their business expansion, it's about making more money, it's about creating a legacy. There's a lot of different purpose and motive. And I feel like if we don't, as engineers, if we don't understand those motives, those needs and those demands, we will never be able to spell out our client's requirement very carefully. And in the end, we may design something and we may actually build something that is not according to what they want. And a lot of time when we talk about when we actually talk about concept, we kind of like lost track of that. You see, we're so focused on getting into the project, designing it, constructing it. We put our energy into those areas before, and focus on those, but we forget about the before, you see. So the before is about the requirement, the meeting of the minds of the client. I'm sure, especially for those of you as working as a client, as a developer, as a government agency, you want your designers and your contractors and your builders and your suppliers to know what exactly that you want, before they jump into ordering, buying, purchasing, and then get things going, you see. I mean, that is where a lot of the disasters comes in later on, because how can you say good quality? How can you say according to the specification whereby the client is not happy? You cannot say things are good quality. Good quality, integrity, and all that is actually client-based. So whatever the client thinks that is well done, then it's well done. You cannot say that it's well done. I mean, on paper, it can be a very well done project, but if the client is not happy, then in the end, it is still not there yet, you see. So please, like we need to think about what to do, what to achieve and all that. So this part here is very, very similar with what we're going to be talking about, later on in scope management. So that spelling out the needs and studying the needs and going through and see whether there's a true need here before you create some sort of concept, over a piece of paper, and then draw out something to show that this is what you need, So this initial stage of understanding the project, not only from the client perspective, we also encourage about the project perspective. So for engineering project, we do want to understand the project environment. And that project environment, we're talking about the different layers of the environment. It can be the organization, the client, the stakeholders, the immediate stakeholders, to the external stakeholder like the project, like the government agency. And the second layer is very localized factor. And then we went out to more of a nation and international kind of level to see the different type of environment that will affect legal regulations, social economics, globalization, new rules and regulation, new law, new acts, that can actually affect your project and the project requirement. So these are the things that we need to really think about at the very early stage of the project, and it's always under that conceptualization, coming up with the project brief to do the study first. So we will talk a little bit more about this during scope management class. And then project life cycle, when we move into feasibility studies, is still under the conception, the earlier part of the studies. This is the time that we will need to look into what is it that you are going to build, and what is it that you're going to build. You're going to look into the different options, the different subcomponents. It's that one product has one big, product. It has many subcomponents and sub-subcomponents. So these feasibility studies, we're actually looking at all these subcomponents and components. I mean, say that you are looking at that particular components, the major components, and see how the major components are actually contributing to the final product, and then how the different options can be used for different components of the product. So the sub-components and the subcomponents, we would generally lump it under the idea of value engineering, not so much in the feasibility studies. So we have to get that picture correctly. So feasibility studies is more about looking at the project as a whole. What is it that we are constructing? What is it that we are purchasing? What is it that we are looking at? What is the product and the components of the product? And then we are looking at the different options. Project evaluation itself on general is about that product. So if I said that, if I say, are we going to build a road? Yes or no, that is an option. Okay, that is project evaluation. But if we're looking at building, yes, we're going to build a road, but we're going to build a 2-lane or a 4-lane, or we're going to build an 8-lane freeway, highway, 3 layers, 8 layers. Those are under feasibility study. Okay, and then from the feasibility study, you need to study in terms of the technical and also the economic advantage, because you need to know how much money is going to flow out. What is the capital expenditure, and in the future, what is the life cycle costing? Not only how much to build, but also how much to maintain, how much to, you're going to pay for operation. And certain options may be very high, very cheap now, but it could be a high maintenance thing later on, you see. So we need to find the balance. So I hope you understand this part of the life cycle, the early stage is still about trying to determine whether yes or no the project is going to go ahead or not. Then down to like what are the options available here? Whether you're going to, depending on what kind of project, you see. So you may have infrastructure project, you have the transmission line, or you have different power plant, like how much kilowatts that you're building and all that. So there's different consideration here. So you do this study. These are talking about feasibility studies, okay? And then once we've already selected the option based on what is advantageous and what not, then we are looking into the preliminary stage of the project, whereby we are trying to look into developing the different components. So we will do a lot of preliminary studies, preliminary design. We carry out a lot of these site studies and all that, and then we will create, from preliminary design to detailed design. There's going to be some stages to go along. Then we're going to be looking at also how our option actually fit into project environment, and how it actually solves the problem. Will it solve the problem? So this is about, at this stage, it's not only why already, or should we go for it. It's more like, what is it that we are going to be building? So this part here, we're developing the subcomponent, the sub-subcomponents, and then looking into the design and planning and the time that it's going to be taking. What are the quality plan? What are the project team? What are the organization chart that is going to be putting together to bring about this project? What are the costing? What are the capital expenditure and all that? So you see, this part here, detailed design, preliminary design, all the way, we are looking at, we're looking at